stopping knight to g5, and now g4. So it's surprising. It's a little bit of a slow approach. I mean, there isn't even really an immediate threat, and there's not going to be a threat for a couple of moves, but black's pieces just can't get across to the H and G files to do anything. So, you know, the knight is helping, the bishop is helping, the queen's backing the bishop up, but that's all they can do. So all they're doing is stopping knight to g5, but nothing more. The rook on e8 is maybe even creating a bit of a traffic jam. The rook on c8 can't do anything to help the queen side, and the bishop on a6 is not going to help either as long as the d3 square is covered. So there's no real chances for this at the moment. And in addition to g5, g6 ideas, there's g5. Let me get rid of this stuff. So after g5, one of white's possibilities, probably have to play something like king to h1 first, rook to g1 maybe, but this idea of knight h2, g4, f6 is an idea. There might also be some rook a3, rook over ideas. So white has a number of things to do to make the attack roll. All right, so from here, black plays ba4, opening up some lines. White plays g5, bishop to b4 attacking the rook, rook e3, because if you go rook to d2, rook to d1, then bishop to e2. So rook e3 is forced, but now black is gaining some ground, it seems. Rook to c1 check, king g2, bishop to f1 check. Now, if the king goes to g3, then bishop to c4 is a good move. White probably has nothing better than to go back and this check happens. So instead of king to g3, white plays king to h2. And now there is a threat of bishop to h7 check. So rook to c7. And now this is one of the really great moments in the game. So it's been a very nice and interesting game so far. But this is, I think, extra special, this move here. So white to move. Give yourself a little workout here. What should white do? How do you make progress? So I love this move. White played king to g3. So what's the point of this? Well, the point is to go knight h2, knight g4, knight f6, which is extremely strong. And that's why I was suggesting king to g3, the previous move. I was just being quiet about it. So the point was bishop c4, and you can't go knight h2 because then this check comes. That's the idea. So first, white had to play king h2, and with this check threat, drive the rook away, and now king to g3. Very, very pretty. But black is not out of ideas. So a3 takes, and now bishop to c3. And, well, hitting this rook here. The rook could go to a2, but black is making some progress. He's getting his pieces to aggressive squares. But here, white just doesn't care. Knight to h2, another great move here. Bishop a1, knight g4. So it's all about that coming check on f6. White has two pawns for a rook and a bishop, so it's a colossal material deficit, but mate is mate. So the thing is, black can't play knight to d7 to stop that, because then there's a stock checkmating pattern. You go check, 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 and mate. So no knight to d7 there for black. That one just fails straight away. And so he's forced to give up the queen, although he tries an interesting move here. He plays f5. I keep saying he, but there is no he involved with this. So f5, knight f6 check. And the problem is, well, black has to give up the queen, because if king to f7, then g6 is mating. The king goes to e7 sooner or later, and then queen to g7 finishes the job. So after knight f6, it was queen takes f6, e takes f6. And at first glance, you might think, well, hey, wait a minute. Black plays rook to h7, and now black wins the queen back and is winning because he's up just a ton of stuff. But no, doesn't quite work that way. Although the right response to this is a little bit sneaky. So you might think, well, okay, I just go f7 check, and after rook takes f7, I go g6, and I save my queen. And it's true that you do save your queen, but after rook to b7, black, in fact, has sufficient counterplay to hold the game. And materially, black is fine. Right now, it's a rook, bishop, and a knight for black against a queen and a pawn. And while this pawn is certainly a big deal, it's a lot of pieces. This guy is under attack. Bishop takes d4 is coming. There might be some positions where f4 check is sets up some nasty tactics. So white is not better here, or if he's better, it's not much better. So the right answer to rook h7 is a very pretty g6. So you just not only don't save your queen, you encourage him to take it. But of course, the payoff is after rook h6, you have f7 check, and you're making a new queen, and of course, you picked up a rook along the way. So this is winning here. So instead of that, the response by Houdini was just f4 check, king takes f4, and then black played bishop takes d4 and resigned, or was resigned. I guess TCEC kind of does the resignation automatically when the evaluation hits a certain point. But just to make clear why this is over, here's a potential or a possible line. So king to g3, getting out of the way of any e5 stuff. And if bishop takes e3, we don't bother to take that guy either. Bishop to g6. So more generous play here by white. So right now white has a queen and two pawns, but for two rooks, a bishop, and a knight. So white's about a rook down in terms of the count. However, white is attacking e3, is attacking e8, and is threatening f7 check as well. So white is going to collect. Rook e to c8, fe3, say bishop to b5, hoping to get to e8, but no time. f7 check, takes, takes, takes. Queen f6 check is a nice little finesse, and then g6, and this guy is going to cost black this, and the other pawn is going to cost black at least a piece and maybe the rook, so this is definitely winning. The other possibility is after king to g3, the black might try something like rook to b7, but the tactics all work for white here as well. Bishop to f5 is kind of crazy. Bishop c4, so this is all, of course, computer nonsense. Bishop g6, rook e to e7, rook f3, threatening to take and then give mate on f8. So bishop to e5 here, rook e to d7, finally f7, which is, of course, the other point of putting the rook on f3. Takes, 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 takes here. Again, g6, and then queen g5, hitting the bishop, and h6 is coming, so bishop g7 is about the best, but with a queen and a queen for two minor pieces, white is winning, and the g-pawn is, of course, still a serious unit. So in this position, white has at least a couple of ways to win. One is to just bring the king up the board, go into f6, and if knight to d7, then king e7, and the black knight can't save its own life and stop queen to h7. Another way to go would be just to play queen g5. So let me make a sample move here, a4, queen g5 with the idea of queen f6 and queen f7. And if black tries to stop that with king to g7, then there's queen e7, and this wins the piece, because if you go back, then queen f7, and that's mate, or, well, that's that. So king g6, queen f8, and this will be trivial to win. So it might have been nice for the spectators if the game had gone a few more moves just to make the final position and the final evaluation just patently obvious to human observers as well. But it is clear as we explore these variations that it really is just over. So a really beautiful win by Stockfish, and one that's happily kind of accessible to humans. So it's not something where there's one small finesse where the king is on one square rather than another square in a line that is relevant 25 moves later. So almost everything in this game, even if the variations are deep and beautiful, the ideas are, again, pretty understandable to ordinary human beings. And again, it was a very attractive game. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and do check out these computer games. Sometimes they're both very interesting and important for opening theory, and often attractive and instructive. It's not as easy a lot of the time to kind of figure out what's going on. on because, well, they're not giving commentary after the game, and also because they're so much stronger than we are. But a lot of the time, if we work kind of carefully through the games, they are more accessible than you might suspect. So hope you guys enjoyed it. Until next time, this is FIDE Master Dennis Monokroussos signing off for chesslecture.com. Bye-bye.